I like to be all in, no halfway measures. So I kind of put my life on hold when I'm involved in a big project. I promise you I won't talk about the library book sale anymore, except to just say that when it was finally over with and I was trying to get back to business as usual, I was kind of disoriented. Like, I can't remember what business as usual used to be. And things that seemed important before don't seem important now. I made this massive list, and there were all sorts of personal things that needed to be done, and I tried to get them out of the way. Plus, I needed to order a bunch of supplies that I really need, which I'm now waiting on. And simple things that should have been done quickly instead got complicated, and more of them kept happening, and it's like, wait, this business thing can't wait forever, you know? I mean, I can only slide for so long. I thought, since it's May, I should probably get our reservations in for farmers markets that we want to do during the summer. I had put that off, well, way too long, first of all, because I didn't have the funds, and then just because I forgot about it. And anyways, I discovered that the first one on the list is this Saturday. Whoops, nearly missed it. I got the reservation in, and I got a thank you for your money, but not a, because it was through some money taking site. But I never did get a confirmation from the actual farmers market people. But hey, whatever. So now I have to hustle around and get things ready for it and fill up the Beast, which is an old Ford Explorer that we use for hauling stuff. And yeah, gas costs what? I don't know how we can possibly make enough money at a farmer's market to pay for a tank of gas. But you never know, do you? Hope springs eternal. And then, yeah, I took a little break there to look up the origin of that phrase, which, if you're interested, it's from Alexander Pope. The farmers markets that we do are small because we live in a pretty rural, kind of rural area. So, it's not like we're doing big shows that make big money. Anyhow, so then there was this dress. I had bought fabric, a teal double gauze. There's a cat back there doing something. I'm not going to worry about it. A really deep teal. It's a pretty color. At a flea market, I wanted to make a dress. I have a very simple dress pattern, like a house dress from the 70s, I think, which should have been real easy. But first of all, I was listening to a Jenny Stitches, and she said that you need to serge the edges of your pattern pieces if you're using double gauze because it frays. Well, I don't have a serger. I don't even have zigzag. My pattern pieces were all cut out and ready to go. I didn't know what to do, so I just let it sit for more months than I care to admit. Then one day it dawned on me that, hey, I use French seams whenever I can, so I shouldn't need to serge because everything will be enclosed. So I started sewing, and then I proceeded to make dumb mistake after dumb mistake. There's no difference between the inside and the outside of the fabric, so I kept sewing things the wrong way around and having to pick out the seams and do them over again. The back is now shorter than the front because I had already trimmed down the seam to do the French seaming. When I discovered it, I got the pockets sewn on wrong. I was so worried about getting them where they were supposed to be so they would line up so there would be no weird lumps and bumps. and I had them pinned on, and then I thought, no, that's the wrong side, so I pinned them on the other side and sewed them and realized, oh, I had it right the first time. So I had to pick out those seams, put them back on, and it's pretty straight. The worst thing is that after I put the pockets in and sewed the side seams and tried it on, I realized I think I would have liked patch pockets better than inseam pockets. But you can't go back, and I didn't know how to do a French seam with a side seam with a pocket in it. So just did a normal seam and looked up how to finish seams because I was so worried about the stupid double gauze, which for me hasn't been fraying. But, you know, so I finally got out pinking sugars and don't know if that'll work. They say it does. Yeah, all that's left now is the bottom hem, which will be done as soon as I figure out how to get it straight. I've been trying to pin it up for 2 days now and haven't been happy with it yet. This is a really super simple dress that's taking for freaking ever. The trouble with sewing mistakes is that they take 10 minutes to sew in and then hours to unpick. My thread matches the fabric really well, so I can't find it to grab onto with the seam ripper. And then when I was doing the rolled hem, did I say rolled hem? The sleeves are grown on because it's a really simple pattern, and they just want you to do this tiny little rolled hem, sort of rolled hem, on the sleeve. And double gauze does not want to roll. You know, it's got the pleats, and it doesn't want to do what you want it to do. Oh my God, it was a experience. Anyways, I was nearly done with the sleeves finally, and but this much to go, and fabric got sucked down into the sewing machine, and I had to go find the miniature screwdriver and take the machine apart. Yeah, and I got the fabric out, which wasn't torn, so everything's fine, but my mood wasn't fine. Maybe I said a few things. I don't know. Okay, I did. Anyways, then to unwind, I had a pair of point shoes to sew the ribbons and elastics on, which is a very fiddly job. But at least it's straightforward, and I've done it so many times. So I know how to do it, even though it's not like fun. But yeah, that's what I did at night to unwind after screwing up on the dress all day. Done with the shoes. Shoes are done. I'm waiting on new jump rings, which is such a simple thing. The first ones I used on my keychain / bead dangles were too flimsy. I bought sturdier ones, but they're so heavy duty, I can't even open them. I have the 2 pliers, and I'm like, and it won't go. It doesn't budge. So what good are they? Maybe they should have been labeled for people with super strength. So now I'm waiting for medium ones so that I can fix the keychains I've already made and then make more. I gave one to a friend, and it fell apart. You know, I think every single jump ring just dropped off, and all I had left was the little bead stacks. Not a good look. I am really happy that none of them sold at the one show I took them to. Yeah, hoping it goes better with the medium jump rings. Anyways, I am waiting on some 11 by 17 natural is the color, or maybe it's natural paper to finish up some junk journals that have been sitting here waiting. Hopefully the color will be right for it because it's vintage. I have all sorts of vintage pages and pictures and etc. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I was trying to tape glue pages together to make a page the right size. It was not a good look. I hate tea dyeing, so I wasn't really happy with the pages that I dyed. Anyways, the covers are from a old Godey's Ladies book, so I needed a bigger size and a certain weight and a certain look. So hopefully when they come, they'll be what I think they're what I need. I don't want to put out a product that I'm not 100% happy with. So it's just been sitting there waiting. I find that little things will stop me, and I've got some sort of mental block and can't seem to move past it. If I'm lucky, then I'll have some eureka moment and have something to try, and I can move on and finish or at least do something else. I also bought a roll of chain for the keychain bead dangle projects, and I don't have anything that will cut that chain. I looked up specifically what works for a heavier chain. I mean, it's not like it's a jewelry chain. And they showed an example of some pliers. They called them jeweler's pliers, but if you look up jeweler's pliers, there must be some other name for it, because you come up with all sorts of little flimsy jeweler's pliers, which I already own. So I have decided to give up on finding it online and go out to Harbor Freight with my roll of chain and see what they tell me to use. That's sitting over there as well. And I had cut out some bag pieces of an upholstery fabric that would make really cool looking bags, but it is fraying like mad. Yeah, where's that serger when I could use it? I pinned on the straps, but I didn't know if I should continue. It's just a prototype, but yeah, I don't see the sense of finishing it if it's not going to be strong enough. I have to put a zipper on those fraying edges. I thought about binding it, but yeah, I don't know. The more steps I add into making it, the more it has to cost. So yeah, do I find a different fabric? Do I sew it and see if it falls apart? I don't have very much hope for it. It looked really cool though. Or it would have looked cool. Yeah, and then I spent some time looking up how to deal with fraying fabric and discovered that I should have dealt with it before I cut it out. Too late on that. Yeah, so I should make a list. Sometimes I make lists and they are so overwhelming that I feel defeated just looking at the list. I suppose that getting ready for the farmer's market in 3 days should probably rank pretty high on the list. The upholstery fabric has me confused though, because somehow people do sew with it and make things that hold together. So there obviously must be a way. Fray check? I don't know. I have fray check. There won't be any exposed seams because there's lining, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just finish the prototype and decide then. And then I think, oh, but I'll have wasted a zipper and the straps. So then, yeah, share, ditch the fabric and move on to something else. Let's not take forever to decide this. And then I'm like, but that fabric was really cool, and I found lining to match. Sometimes I get so exasperated with myself, perhaps I can salvage that bit of fabric and make something smaller with it. It's so not worth all this worrying. It's a wonder I get anything done. And yet, with that partial bag sitting in the sewing room, it's like stopped everything else from going forward. And I see it every time I go in there. I don't know if you hear it, but there's a cat moaning in the background. Okay, so, excuse me, right now, I'm going upstairs to unpin the straps of that bag fabric and find different fabric and put that fabric away and see if I can do something else with it. Doing it right now before I change my mind. Well, except, yeah, the song. then I promise I will do that bag. And again, I forgot to tell you who I am and what I do. And oh well, here's your song of the day. And the way the light's shining, I can't read my notes. I'm counting backwards from the stars down to the sea. I'm counting all the lies they told to you and me. They glow like memories, little pinpricks in the night. I watch and more of them keep floating into sight. Counting backwards to the sea. Counting backwards to the sea. I watched you reach for love, I saw love turn away. Love has a darker side you didn't have to play. You made your own rules, tried to outmaneuver love. You stepped into that world and never made it out. Counting backwards to the sea. Counting backwards to the sea. What love I had for you, I had to put away. You had no use for it, it just got in our way. I tried to tell you I had all the love we'd need. You listened but didn't hear. You looked but didn't see. Counting backwards to the sea. Counting backwards to the sea. I'm counting backwards from the stars down to the sea. I'm watching life go on in spite of you and me. I'm watching your house of cards come crumbling to the ground. Funny how they don't need you when you're not around. Counting backwards to the sea. running backwards to the sea.